Hello learners, welcome to this video lesson of your online course that is BES 1 to 7 Assessment for Learning, and today we are going to discuss the topic that is issues and concerns in assessment and evaluation. So before our discussion, let me to introduce Dr. Niradhar De, faculty member, School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Welcome you all to this video lesson. Let us go forward to know about that this video is included in which weekend module. You see, so far as your modular approach of this online course is concerned, presently we are in the 4th week and 4th module. In 4th module, the title of this module is Issues, Concerns and Trends in Assessment and Evaluation. And in this module, 2 video lessons are included. First is Issues and Concerns in Assessment and Evaluation, and the second video lesson is Recent Trends in Assessment and Evaluation. So friends, basically in this module you will find that the difficulties that the students and the teachers face so far as assessment practices is concerned, preparing test is concerned, and evaluating the performance of the learners are concerned. That is also for the overall, or you can say for the total development of the learner's personality is concerned. That includes both scholastic as well as post-scholastic abilities. So many a time you will find that we face many issues, we have many concerns, we have many difficulties to address the issues of examination, to address the issues of assessment. So here in this module we will discuss about what are the different issues that create a type of obstacle, create a type of trouble, create a type of difficulties in assessing learners' performance so far as their scholastic and post-scholastic abilities are concerned. And at the same time, our focus will be also upon what are the new trends and new innovations in the field of assessment that can be used for authentic and for contextual assessment, or you can say proper assessment or the quality assessment of the learners. So friends, now let us focus upon our first video lesson, that is issues and concerns in assessment and evaluation. Let us go forward. So far as learning outcomes from this video lesson is concerned, I am sure that after going through this video lesson and at the same time after going through the e-content which is given in this module, in the 4th week module, you will be able to discuss what is to be assessed. Then further you will be able to describe major issues in educational assessment and evaluation, and further you will be able to explain the criteria to be used to assess the process and product of assessment. Okay, so here you see 2 things are focused. One is the process aspect and process aspect of assessment, then other is the product aspect of assessment. So the criteria, you have to explain the criteria that are used for assessing the process and product of assessment, and further you will be able to discuss who will apply the assessment criteria and determine marks or grade. And further, after going through this video lesson, you will be able to explain how will the scores or grades be interpreted, the scores or grades that you have received. So how to interpret it, how to analyze it, how to describe it. So far you can just prepare a progress report for the learner. And further, after going through this video lesson, you will be able to discuss the sources of error in examination. So friends, when we conduct examination, what are the different errors that we commit, what are the different errors that we do, and what are the different sources for conducting the error and how the error should be minimized. So these are the certain learning outcomes of this video lesson, and I am hopeful that these learning outcomes will be achieved by you all. So now let us focus upon the major issues in assessment and evaluation. So what are the major issues? First of all, the first issue is making assessment and evaluation child-centered. You see, so far as constructivist approach of teaching and learning and constructivist approach of assessment practices are concerned, you will find that we consider being a teacher educator, being a student of education, we consider that every child who is coming to the boundary, to the campus of the school or to the system of the school are coming with many experiences. It may be life experiences, life skills, or at the same time experiences from different context and perspectives, experiences from different backgrounds, from the environment where the child is living, from the family, from the society, from the community. The learners, they are also experiencing many things when they are playing with the groups. Okay, it may be related with certain values, may be related with our culture, our tradition, our diversities, our language practices. Okay, so here when we talk about assessment, that means the child should not feel any type of examination phobia, test related phobia when they are appearing, when they are preparing for the exam or when they are appearing for the exam. So that's why the first issue is to make assessment child centered and further objective based. So just like assessing all aspects of child development. So many a time what we are doing, we are just concentrating upon, we are just concerned about the cognitive development of the child. It may be the knowledge aspect, the comprehension or the understanding of the child, at the same time analysis, interpretation, application and skill. But somehow we neglect affective and psychomotor domain, development of the affective and psychomotor domain of the child. So that's why when we talk about the issues in assessment and evaluation, being a teacher, what you have to do, you have to include the items, you have to prepare the test taking questions from all these three areas, all these three domains of development, that is cognitive domain, affective domain and psychomotor domain. And further, the other issue in assessment and evaluation, that is integrating assessment in the process of teaching and learning. So how to integrate it? So friends, as per constructivist approach of teaching and learning process is concerned, this is considered that assessment is included, or inclusiveness of assessment in the practice of teaching and learning. It means when there is teaching learning process, then definitely assessment is a part of it. It is an integrated part of teaching and learning process. So if assessment is not an integrated part of teaching learning process, then it is an issue. Okay, so we have to understand in a very proper way, in a very better way, that whether assessment, informal or formal, observation based or any type of activity based assessment practices are included in the process of teaching and learning or not. Then further another issue is use of ICT, information and communication technology, whether this has been included in assessment or not. Nowadays you might be experiencing that how we are using ICT, information and communication technology, so far as our teaching learning process is concerned. Okay, so nowadays during this COVID-19 pandemic situation across the world, you will find that so far as school and other higher education institutions are concerned, all the institutions, the teachers, they are engaged in online teaching. Okay, so they are using different online tools to teach the learners, and at the same time for assessing performance of the learners, it may be unit test, it may be semester and examination, it may be final examination also. You will find that the information and communication technology is highly used. So that's why it is also another issue, that how to use contextually and in a very right way so far as learners intense performance is concerned. And further another issue is making assessment a continuous process. Assessment, so far as formative assessment is concerned, so far as the constructive approach of the teaching learning process is concerned, you will find that assessment is a continuous process. Okay, there is the continuum of assessment. Okay, every lesson is having certain assessment, and throughout the year when there is teaching, there is assessment. So this is also another issue. Being a teacher, we have to understand and we have to apply, we have to practice it. And further, introducing internal and external assessment system. So both internal and external system of assessment is also another issue so far as assessment and evaluation is concerned. Then developing question bank, marking or grading, and other you can say these contemporary issues are concerned. You will find that we have discussed it in this module, and our major focus is to understand the issues and to find out the solution of these issues. And further, so far as what we will assess, of the students. So here, what is to be assessed, to address the question of what is to be addressed, we can say that there are three aspects of assessment. One is the input, and other is the process, and the third aspect is the output. But you will say, so far as our traditional teaching learning process is concerned, our major focus is upon output. Okay, so that means we do it by using a type of you can say a summative types of assessment, or you can say a type of term end examination or semester end examination, but somehow we neglect the input and process aspect of assessment. Input means what are the different data, different information, different experiences the teacher has given to the learners. Okay, what are the different activities the teacher has demonstrated, teacher has practiced in the school, means how the resources or how the learning has been input to the learners, learning has been given to the learners with the theoretical, at the same time hands-on activities and practical things are given to the learners, and how learners they have developed their own ideas, they have developed their own learning. Okay, so that's why this is called as the process aspect, how learning takes place, the pedagogy of learning. At the same time, when learning takes place, you will find that assessment plays a very role in it, very important role in it. Assessment helps for the enhancement learning of the learner. That means when you engage learners in peer assessment, in group assessment, you will find that the learners are engaged to assess performance of other students, and many a time in self-assessment they also engage themselves for assessing their own performance. So this is the process of assessment, and during the process of self-assessment or peer assessment, you will find that the learner will learn many things, they can enhance their learning. So far as the issues and concerns are concerned in this module, you will find that not only output is given importance, rather with output the input aspect and process aspect of learning and assessment are also given equal importance. And further, to understand about criteria to be used assess the process and product, we can use the criteria just like in the present assessment and evaluation system. The criteria is decided by the teachers or the certifying agencies. So what criteria to be issued, what level of development of the learners will be issued, so who decides it? So first of all, teacher decides it, but at the same time the certifying agencies, it may be CBSE or it may be university, that define the criteria. But this is not it is a practice, but it may not be a right approach, because here we are not involving the learners. But here you see criteria for the assessment can be determined by the teachers, students, or through consultation between the two. So that means in consultation with teacher and students, criteria should be decided. And further to understand about the criteria, we can say that any effective evaluation system must include specific, objective, and description of the performance criteria such as ability in language acquisition, skill of analyzing and comprehending mathematics and other concepts, then description of life skill, etc. for evaluating students' performance. So here you see the criteria just like ability in language acquisition, language skills, skills of analyzing and comprehending mathematics, whether the learners are achieving the skills of mathematics or not, and other concepts and description of life skills, whether the learners have developed life skills or not, just like whether they have developed the interpersonal relationship, develop empathy, okay, develop a right communication skill. So all such things, all such criteria should be decided in consultation with the teacher and the students. And for the intervariability of marks and grades among the evaluator in assessing answer scripts needs to be addressed. So this is also another issue that should be addressed, intervariability of marks and grades. So I have already said that a same answer script, if you distribute it to different examiner, you will find that you will get a huge difference among the scoring of the evaluator. Some are giving a very low grade or a lower percentage. At the same time, on the same answer script, another evaluator, another examiner is giving a high grade. So this is a problem. This is the how to minimize the intervariability is also another concern. And for the so far as who decides the assessment criteria, I have already said that assessment should not be teacher centric, rather assessment should be child centric. So in a child centric assessment, the students should be given importance to be a part of assessment, or when designing the curriculum and designing the strategies of assessment using different techniques of assessment with the teacher, students should be given importance, students should be consulted. And further, the prevailing examination system has the drawbacks like subjectivity, favoritism, use of unfair means by the students, and so on. So many a time you must have experienced all such things being a teacher, that the examination system is subjective in nature, because mostly it is summative evaluation oriented, and you will find that essay type of questions are dominates upon the objective types of questions. And many a time also in the institutional level you will find that certain favoritism attitude of the teachers that also work, and use of unfair means. So many a time the learners or the students, what they do, they also use the unfair means. Okay, so these are the certain major issues that needs to address. And for the assessment parameters are implemented by the teachers in accordance with their own requirements and convenience without involving the students in the process. So teachers shouldn't select assessment criteria at their own, rather they should include students in the decision making, because after all the beneficiaries are the students. Yes friends, so who decides the assessment criteria? Here further we can discuss that assessment parameters are implemented by the teachers in accordance with their own requirements and convenience without involving students in the process. So this is an issue that they are doing it in their own convenient and requirements. Students are not a part of it, but students should be a part of it. Students should be well informed about the criteria of assessment. So many a time you will find that students are sitting examination, appearing examination without knowing different criteria of the evaluation. Okay, so if the criteria is not specified, then the performance of the learners, you can't expect that the learners will do equally well in all the criteria. So that's why learners or the students should be included for deciding or for getting ideas about the criteria which is included in the assessment. And further we can say evaluation should be a collaborative effort. Okay, the stakeholders should be included in it, though it is a confidential work, but certain information should be shared. And at the same time, self-assessment, peer and group assessment, and opinion of other teachers should be essential aspect of grading a student. So many a time an individual teacher should consult with other teachers about a students, about the engagement of the students, about the performance of the students in varieties of activities that includes both scholastic as well as post-scholastic activities. Let us go forward. And for the how to interpret this scores or the grades, so here you see on your screen, now it is visible, This is as per the you can say CBSE pattern of Central Board of Secondary Education pattern of evaluation. This is designed in a 10-point scale, but in 9 different grade. Just like here you see the grades are A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, D, then E1, E2. Okay. Every level 2 grades are there, just like in the A level grade 2, A1, A2, in B 2 grades are there, B1 and B2, in C level C1 and C2, but in D is the minimum passing grade you can say, and equivalent percentage of marks of D grade is 33 to 40, and the grade point is 4. Okay, so for converting grade into marks, or here grade points are also given, just like the highest grade point is 10, that is equivalent to grade A1, and which represent or which cover you can say a group of percentage of scores, just like a limit of percentage of score, just like 91 percentage to 100 percentage. Okay, so that is A1 grade, and 81 to 90 percentage, that is A2 grade. 71 to 80 percentage of scores that's come under the B1 grade, and 61 to 70 percentage of the scores that's come under the B2 grade. Accordingly, 51 to 60 percentage is C1, and 41 to 50 is C2, and 33 to 40, which is a passing grade, that is D, and below the passing grade again 2 grades are there, that is E1 and E2. Okay, E1 is equivalent to 21 to 32 percentage, and E2 is equivalent to 20 and below. So here E1 and E2 grade is unsatisfactory, but the other grades after D grade, you can say that the C grades are just like the average performance. One is the below average and other is the average performance, and B1 and B2 you can say that these are also above average performance, but so far as A1 and A2 are concerned, so these grades, because that is above 80 percentage, above 81 percentage, so you can say that these are the better grade. So the highest, the excellent grade or the excellent performance of the learner, that is the A1 grade. Okay, so that is grade point is 10. So this is as per CBSE, and you will find that in different state, many states they have used this 10-point grading system, but many in different programs and in different board you will find that the grading systems are different. So that's why it is also another issue to interpret the scores or grades. So how to interpret the score, because all grades are not equal. Okay, and how to interpret the scores also, unless descriptively we explain it, unless descriptively we describe it, so how can we interpret? So that's why this is also another important concern so far as issues and concerns of assessment and evaluation is concerned. Let us go forward, and further now let us focus upon our discussion, that is sources of errors in examination. So friends, when we do examination, what are the different errors that we do, and what are the different sources from where we do the error? So what are the different sources that we follow or that we use, or from where we do the error? First of all, the first source is subjectivity in marking by the same examiner or different examiners. So this is an error. As I have already said, that if you will give an essay examination script to one examiner, and after few days if you will give the same answer script to the same examiner, you will find that there will be the variations in scoring, intervariability is there, and the same thing also, if the same script you will give to different examiner, you will find that a huge gap of scoring you will get. So that is called as subjectivity in marking. So why subjectivity in marking? So what precautions we will take so that we can just minimize this subjectivity and we can develop objectivity so far as scoring is concerned. Okay, so we can do it by carefully phrasing, we can do it by, you can say, developing questions, developing question, keeping in consideration from different level of development, different domain of development of the learners. Okay, and if we specify the questions, and further another source is biased selection of topics for asking questions. So many a time you will find that this is another important error, that you will find that teacher many a time select questions to take an interview, to ask students in a very biased way, in a very partiality manner. Okay, so there you see many content are there, or many topic is included in a course, but you will find that teacher is not covering all the content or all the topic. Teacher is selecting few topics and giving questions and preparing questions from that topic. So this is also another source of error in examination. Further we can say errors in selection of students abilities to be evaluated. So many a time when we prepare question paper, when we prepare a test, so the total development of child, total development of student, hardly we give importance. You will find that we give more importance upon the cognitive development. So that's why you will find that many questions we include from the cognitive domain, and equal representation or equal weightage we do not give to affective and psychomotor domain. So that's why here this is also another source that we neglect for the development of few aspects of students' ability, just like affective and psychomotor domain. So that's why this is also another source of error in examination. And further errors due to arbitrary time limits in examination. So many a time you will find that if the examination is being conducted in different institutions, you will find that one institution is giving 2 hours of time, at the same time other institution is giving more than 2 hours of time, or many institutions they are doing it less than 2 hours of time. And many a time you will find that because the criteria are not mentioned properly, you will find that in some institution they are doing it a type of theoretical examination, but for the same context, for the same content, the other institutions are doing it a practical. So that's why these are the certain issues we have to understand, or we make certain errors, and these are the certain sources from where we do the error in examination. And further we can say that errors due to improper evaluation conditions, errors due to choice of questions in examination. So many a time we give choice of questions in examination. Let 4 questions are given, and we give instruction that out of the 4 questions you can attempt any 2 or any 3. So such type of things we do. We provide certain option to the learners, certain choice to the learners. But before giving choice to the learners, do you ever think that all the questions that come under the choice of the learners are having equal difficulty order, equal difficulty value? Okay, so it's very difficult. So far as essay type of question is concerned, you can't say that all questions are of equal difficulty. You will find that few questions are easy and other questions are difficult. But when you provide choice of questions to the students, so what the students will do, what the examinees will do, they will just select the questions which is some extent easy. They never select a question of difficult. So that's why when you provide choice in the question, definitely take an idea that all questions under that choice in that question are having equal difficulty value. Okay, just to recapitulate today's session, we discussed about the issues and concerns in assessment and evaluation. What are the different issues that we face so far as learners formative assessment is concerned, learners summative assessment is concerned, learners learning difficulties are concerned, and mostly I will say that learners overall development of their personality is concerned. That includes both scholastic as well as co-scholastic abilities. And further, we have also discussed about the errors, the sources of errors in the examination that we usually do, and how do we minimize the errors that we do in examination. Friends, for further queries, you can write to me niradhar@ignou.ac.in. You can make me a telephone call. My intercom number is 2994. You can visit my Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter handle. You will find more than 250 video lessons are there on different themes on education. I think the video lessons are included in different channel that will help you a lot for your study. Thank you.